am still physically recovering. Like, I am sweating, I am shaking, I am unwell.
Oh, completely unwell.
When Mary Bennet looked Caroline Bingley dead in the eye at that dinner party, just right in front of everyone, and asked if she had personal experience with rejection.
It was a surgical strike.
The gasp I let out, I literally had to pause the screen, get up, walk around my living room, and scream into a throw pillow.
I mean, it was a flawless, devastating, absolute psychological teardown.
We love a quiet girl who finally snaps. It was the ultimate, devastating clapback of the century.
Executed by a woman who, up until this week, was afraid of her own shadow? Caroline Bingley's soul left her body and floated somewhere over the Thames.
Just pure, unadulterated shade.
Right, wrapped in a polite Regency bow.
Babes, happy Friday to the Snark squad. Babes, we love you, we see you, and babes, we are so happy to have you here with us tonight.
We are so incredibly thrilled. Welcome to the chaos, besties.
Babes, the cranberry mojitos are flowing tonight, and honestly, these drinks are incredible.
I don't know what it is about adding cranberry to a classic mojito, but it completely elevates the flavor profile.
Oh, totally.
Like, it takes it from a standard, everyday patio beverage to something that makes me feel like I am a wealthy woman lounging on the deck of a private yacht off the coast of Monaco.
Yes, it's giving generational wealth.
It's giving irrational, fake, sophisticated confidence.
I am literally 2 sips in, and I already feel deeply emotional and nostalgic.
Already?
Yes, like the fresh mint, the tartness of the cranberry cutting through the simple syrup. I am instantly losing my mind over vacations I haven't even been on yet.
Well, that's the Friday cocktails, bestie.
They just hit so differently. After a long week of literally leaning over dental chairs, staring into people's mouths and drilling teeth, I feel like crying over how good this is.
Pace yourself, please, because dentistry is back-breaking labor, but Friday night auntie energy requires immense stamina.
It really does.
We have to maintain our sophisticated yacht woman illusion for at least another hour before we inevitably crash.
Okay, babes, we actually have such a chaotic weekend planned. And honestly, it's not even because of rec basketball this time.
Thank God.
Right, because our niece is turning 14 this weekend.
14. Let that sink in.
I can't.
The emotional damage of realizing that we are now the responsible adult figures in the room amidst birthday party chaos is taking a severe toll on my mental health.
Same.
She's a full-blown teenager.
I am terrified of her. Like, teenagers today are so much cooler than we ever were.
Oh, entirely.
When I was 14, I had braces, terrible bangs, and I thought wearing a sparkly scarf as a belt over low-rise jeans was the height of fashion.
A dark time for all of us.
Our niece has a multi-step drunk elephant skincare routine. She knows what hyaluronic acid is. I am actively mourning the loss of our youth.
It's over for us.
The pressure of maintaining our fun auntie status is crushing me.
We are obsolete. We're going to walk into that party, try to use a slang word we heard on TikTok 3 weeks too late, and she's going to look at us with absolute pity.
She is going to destroy us with one look.
We are relics of the past. But on the bright side, being the responsible adults means we get to control the sugar intake.
Which is important.
Which, given our profession, is a moral imperative.
After work tomorrow, we need to meet up and buy her present. And, babes, we also need to figure out the birthday cake situation.
And this is where we are going to have a very serious problem.
Oh.
Because my stance on this is completely uncompromising, and I know you are going to fight me.
I am going to fight you because I am emotionally attached to the classic local bakery birthday cake.
No.
Yes. The white cardboard box tied with the little red string, the overly sweet vanilla frosting with the little airbrushed frosting roses that instantly stain your teeth blue.
It's terrible.
That is the essence of joy. That is what a birthday feels like.
You are living in a delusional fantasy world powered by pure sentimentality and food coloring.
I am not.
Listen to me very carefully. Costco sheet cake deserves Michelin stars.
Oh my gosh, you are insane.
It is a masterpiece of modern culinary engineering. The structural integrity, the cake-to-frosting ratio, the sheer volume, it is elite.
It's a giant block of sugar.
It is financially responsible and gastronomically superior. And furthermore, chocolate cake is vastly overrated.
I am screaming. How can you say chocolate is overrated?
Because it is. The vanilla Costco sheet cake with the vanilla mousse filling is the peak of human achievement.
You are so shady for this. And frankly, birthday cake flavor is a specific magical entity that defies logic.
Does it?
Yes. It tastes vastly superior to regular cake. It tastes like confetti and wishes.
Wishes don't have a flavor profile.
We cannot just roll up to a 14-year-old's highly aesthetic birthday party with a massive slab of Costco cake.
Yeah.
We are dentists with separate successful practices.
Exactly.
We are adult women. We can afford the bakery box.
It's not about the money, it's about the principle. The Costco cake is a reliable workhorse. The bakery cake is a diva that might look pretty for the Instagram grid, but tastes like drywall the second you cut into it.
Drywall.
But fine, we will compromise. We will get the aesthetic bakery cake, and I will judge it silently from the corner while eating a smuggled slice of Costco perfection that I keep in my car.
I hate you so much right now. Anyway, we also need to start planning our July 4th barbecue. But honestly, babes, one crisis at a time.
The stress of party planning is already giving me stress hives.
I am so stressed out because I have this very specific vision in my head, right?
I know the vision.
I want this gorgeous Pinterest-level aesthetic party with the Edison fairy lights, the matching gingham napkins, the artisanal burger bar with brioche buns.
Right.
But my energy levels, my execution capabilities, we are working with a Walmart effort budget, both financially and emotionally.
Absolutely.
I want to host this beautiful gathering, but I am completely drained after a week of back-to-back root canals.
We are going to buy sturdy paper plates, we are going to serve moderately priced hot dogs, and we are going to call it rustic.
Rustic. I love that rebrand.
Nobody cares about the aesthetic when they're 3 cranberry mojitos deep in the backyard anyway.
True, but there is one saving grace. We did buy her a Snark squad basketball jersey.
We did.
Even though she's not technically on our rec basketball team. And babes, it hasn't arrived yet, but TT, when it does, masterpiece.
It is going to be iconic.
I am getting irrationally emotional over this custom merch.
Why?
Seeing our little logo printed on a legitimate basketball jersey makes me feel like we are literal celebrities. Like we are building a lifestyle empire.
Very niche empire.
I want a full merch line eventually. Hoodies, mugs, maybe those little dental floss dispensers with our logo stamped on the side.
A merch empire built on pop culture shade and proper oral hygiene. It's the crossover the world didn't know it needed.
It really is.
But yes, when that jersey arrives, she is going to be the most stylish 14-year-old on the planet, even if she refuses to actually play basketball with us, because we are, as established, incredibly uncool.
Okay, babes, enough spiraling because we need to get into this episode.
Let's get into the absolute chaos that is the London season.
We are diving into episode 5, and it kicks off with what I am officially calling the Emma Woodhouse makeover.
Very fitting.
Right. Mary has made the active choice to stay in London with the Gardiners instead of going to Pemberley, which, first of all, good for her.
Excellent boundary setting.
Stay in the city, live your life, set some boundaries with your overbearing family.
Exactly.
But then Ann Baxter steps in. Anne takes Mary under her wing, determined to make her the absolute star of Lady Winspear's ball. And bestie, the methods.
Oh, the method.
The skincare. I am traumatized by the sensory nightmare of what Anne put on Mary's face.
The Regency equivalent of a chemical peel, but make it terrifying.
Literally terrifying.
She subjected Mary to this intense skin polishing routine using a face mask made of melted wax and onions. Onions and hot wax.
I literally gagged. Having hot onion wax painted onto your face, can you imagine the smell of sulfur and burning wax just lingering right under your nose?
It's a crime against dermatology.
Can you imagine the feeling when it hardens and pulls at your baby hairs? It's giving me flashbacks to taking those awful alginate dental impressions where the patient is choking on the gooey pink plaster, but on your entire face.
And then Mr. Gardner walks in and drops the most hilarious deadpan line.
He really does.
He takes one look at her and says, she looks like she has stew on her face.
Stew.
Which is brutally accurate. It was a culinary disaster applied topically.
It really was.
But it speaks volumes about the insane lengths women have always gone to for beauty standards.
Yeah.
If you look at history, women were painting their faces with literal lead and arsenic during this era. I suppose onion wax is slightly less lethal, but still a psychological terror.
Right. But you know what? Anne is acting exactly like that one friend we all have. who watches way too many TikTok glow-up tutorials and aggressively tries to fix your life.
Oh, completely.
It's that toxic positivity mixed with aggressive makeovers. Like, oh, you're single, let me change your hair, let me buy you a new wardrobe, let me put onion wax on your face, and let's get you a husband.
It's relentless.
It's less about helping Mary and more about Anne feeling productive.
It is very Emma Woodhouse taking on a Harriet Smith project, absolutely. Anne means well, supposedly, but she's projecting her own anxieties onto Mary. She is coaching her on ballroom deportment, aggressively trying to get Mary to unlearn Mrs. Bennet's horrific, damaging claim that no man would ever marry a woman who wears spectacles.
Which was so mean.
But what's truly fascinating and deeply shady is the advice Anne gives Mary about love during this little boot camp.
Yes, my jaw dropped. Because Anne sits her down and tells Mary to enjoy the first throes of new love, because that feeling quickly fades into something ordinary.
Ordinary.
She says it becomes almost impossible to remember how you felt at the very beginning, and I have a theory here.
Let's hear it.
Anne is supposed to be happily engaged to Tom Hayward. You do not say something that deeply cynical if you are blissfully in love with your fiancé. She is totally telling on herself.
Your theory is spot on. That is a massive neon flashing red flag. You don't casually drop the love becomes ordinary and forgettable truth bomb if you are currently in the honeymoon phase of an engagement. She is projecting her own dying spark onto Mary.
It's so sad, though. She's watching Mary experience these first flutters of male attention, these little moments of hope, and Anne is prematurely mourning her own relationship before she's even walked down the aisle.
It's incredibly telling. She's trying to live vicariously through Mary's glow-up because her own romantic life has plateaued into a squeaky-shoe disappointment.
Squeaky-shoe disappointment is the perfect way to phrase it.
She wants to manufacture a grand romance for Mary because she realizes she settled for a sensible, lukewarm arrangement with Tom.
Speaking of squeaky shoes, we have to talk about the ball.
We really do.
We have to unpack the tale of two dances. Because I am unwell. I am vibrating on a frequency of pure, unadulterated romantic yearning.
Oh, here we go.
First, we have the forced dance with Tom Hayward, and literally pushes them together on the floor to show Mary off as an eligible bachelorette. And Tom, oh my God, Tom.
Tom is a disaster. An absolute, beautiful, stressed-out disaster.
His shoes are squeaking so loudly on the hardwood floor, he is literally counting his dance steps out loud under his breath.
1, 2, 3.
Yes, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. He is sweating. He is awkward. He looks like he wants the floor to swallow him whole.
Completely.
And yet I need you to validate me on this. How is it possible that a man counting his dance steps out loud while his shoes squeak is the hottest thing I've seen on TV all year?
Because it's authentic. And because the yearning is palpable. You are responding to the friction between his rigid exterior and his internal panic.
I was losing my mind. It was giving full, repressed, agonizing, period drama yearning.
It really was.
They're making this stilted, awkward conversation, but their eyes are screaming at each other.
So loud.
They are totally into each other, but they are both paralyzed because he is engaged to the onion wax best friend. The tension was so thick you could scrape it with a dental scaler.
But squeaky shoes are a brilliant piece of characterization by the writers. Let's look at the psychology of it.
Okay, lay it on me.
Tom is paralyzed by society's rules. He is trapped by convention, by his messy, fading engagement to Anne, and by his own rigid sense of duty. The squeaking, the counting out loud, it physically manifests how uncomfortable and restricted he feels in this environment, and by extension, in his life choices. He doesn't know how to glide through society. He plods.
He does plod.
And he spends the rest of the night just staring longingly at Mary from the sidelines, looking exactly like a man who realizes he boarded the wrong ship right as it's leaving the harbor.
Oh, it breaks my heart. And then, perfectly contrasted against that awkward shuffling, we have the second dance. William Ryder steps up.
The foil to Tom Hayward.
Yeah.
The fun, wealthy, rebellious indie boy.
Yes. Ryder asks her to dance, and it is the exact opposite energy. They are openly laughing at how stiff and ridiculous the formal steps are.
They are.
They are breaking convention. They are leaping around the floor, having the time of their lives. The physical distance between them felt so much small because they were actually connecting.
They definitely were.
Yeah. And Mary, our sweet, quiet, repressed Mary confesses her deepest, darkest secret to this incredibly handsome man.
That she loves reading true crime pamphlets.
I shrieked. Mary is a true crime girly. She loves the grisly murder broadsides.
It's amazing.
And Ryder finds it incredibly endearing instead of being horrified. In a society that tells women they have to be delicate flowers who only read poetry, she admits she likes reading about Victorian-era poisonings, and he loves it.
He eats it up.
It was such a liberating moment for her. She was outside of her own head, finally having fun, finally being seen for who she actually is.
It was a beautiful moment of connection. It was wonderful to see Mary smile. However,
I hear the tone shift.
yeah,
Here comes the analytical shade.
I must provide some contextual shade, bestie.
Yeah, right.
Ryder is charming, yes. He rejects the rules, he thinks people should just follow their hearts, and he openly mocks the pressures of the marriage mart.
Which is great.
That sounds very romantic and progressive to a modern ear. We love a guy who bucks the system. But let's look at the underlying reality. Ryder has incredible, unmitigated privilege.
Okay, break that down, because I was swooning, so tell me why I shouldn't be.
He is a wealthy man. He can afford to view marriage as a frivolous choice, a silly societal game that he can opt in or out of at his leisure.
Oh, I see where you're going.
He can afford to reject the rules because the rules were built to protect his wealth, not dictate his survival.
Right.
Mary, on the other hand, cannot just follow her heart. Women of her time literally rely on marriage for physical and economic survival.
That is so depressing.
Because of the entailment on her father's estate, meaning it goes to a male heir. Mr. Collins, when her father dies, Mary and her sisters will be homeless. For her, it's marriage or destitution. It's either finding a husband, becoming a governess, or living on the charity of relatives.
Wow, okay. That completely changes the vibe.
Exactly. Ryder telling her to just follow her heart and ignore the rules is incredibly easy for him to say from his position of ultimate security.
So easy.
It's giving major tech bro who says money isn't real energy while you're actively stressing over paying off your student loans.
That is so true. It's toxic privilege disguised as romance. Like, easy for you to say, William, you have a trust fund and property.
Exactly.
If Mary ignores the rules, she ends up living in a ditch. And I actually love that Mary kind of calls him out on it during the dance.
She does.
She points out that the consequences of this liberty he's talking about fall entirely on the woman. She's finding her voice, and she's smart enough to not let his charming indie boy routine completely blind her to the harsh economic realities of her own existence.
Precisely. Which perfectly explains her mindset going into our next topic, the mid-men and the god-awful red dress.
Oh my gosh, yes.
We need to talk about the visual choices in this episode because they are fascinating, even if you were initially outraged by them.
Outraged is an understatement. I was having a full-blown crisis over the costume department.
I could hear you screaming from my house.
Mary is supposed to be having this big London glow-up. She is stepping out into society. She's coming into her own. She's the main character now. And what do they put her in?
A statement piece.
This very bold, incredibly ill-fitting, slightly horrifying bright red dress with this chunky gold trim. I was complaining so loudly on my TV. I was like, why are they doing my girl dirty like this? Give her the pastel silks.
And that is exactly where the brilliance of the show's framing comes in. You have to remember the perspective we're viewing this world through.
Okay, my theory was just that the costume department hated her, so please give me a better interpretation.
This entire series is firmly rooted in Mary's point of view. It's not Lizzie Bennet's POV, where everything is romantic, sweeping, and aesthetically perfect. It's Mary's reality.
Okay.
To understand the dress, let's look at how the show treats the traditional heroes. Mr. Darcy and Mr. Bingley made brief appearances at this ball. Do you notice anything specific about how they were filmed?
Yes. I actually wrote this down. They looked aggressively mid.
Aggressively mid.
Like, Darcy didn't even have a speaking line. He was just standing near a pillar looking mildly annoyed. And neither of them looked like the swoon-worthy, glowing romantic heroes we are so used to seeing in Austen adaptations. They just look like regular guys.
Exactly. They look mid because Mary is fundamentally uninterested in them.
Oh.
To Lizzie, Darcy is the pinnacle of romantic intrigue. He gets the dramatic music, the soft lighting, the wind blowing through his hair. To Mary, Darcy and Bingley are just two random guys blocking her path to the snack table.
That is hilarious.
They aren't relevant to her story, so they don't get the heroic lighting. We are seeing them exactly as Mary sees them, irrelevant.
That is so shady to Mr. Darcy, and I love it so much. It's like when your friend points out their massive crush across the room and you look over and it's just a guy in a fleece vest eating a cracker. Like, okay, I guess he's fine, but I don't see the vision.
Exactly. And that subjective POV explains the red dress. Mary is not Lizzie. Mary is not Jane. She has been repressed her entire life, told to wear drab colors, told to hide in the background with her books.
Right.
Now, she is discovering her own style, and her initial choices are, well, loud. She dressed herself based on her own quirky, slightly neurodivergent tastes. The dress is terrible because she's still figuring it out. She thought, I want to be bold, I want to be seen, I'll wear bright red and gold.
It's a clumsy attempt at self-expression, but it's hers.
Yes. It's not a Pinterest-perfect aesthetic. It's her Walmart budget attempt at glamour.
Oh, circling back to the BBQ.
Always. She doesn't have the innate social grace of her sisters yet. We have to respect the journey of finding her personal style, even if the first step is a massive fashion faux pas.
Okay, when you put it like that, I feel terrible for yelling at the screen. She's doing her best. It's honestly exactly like when I tried to cut my own bangs in my first year of dental school because I wanted an edgy, independent look, and I ended up looking like a medieval peasant for 6 months.
A rough time for you.
We all have to go through the tragic, awkward phase to finally find ourselves.
The red dress is her medieval peasant bangs phase. It is a necessary stepping stone to self-actualization.
Well, she needed all the bold red dress energy she could muster, because that brings us to the ultimate villain arc. The dinner party sabotage and horse girl energy. Babes, Caroline Bingley arrives.
The true antagonist enters the chat.
I hate her. I hate her so much. I was practically growling at my television. She shows up at William Ryder's dinner party with the sole, undeniable purpose of terrorizing Mary.
That's her only hobby.
She just radiates that bitter, toxic, high school mean girl energy. She is the girl who peaked at 17, realized the real world doesn't care about her hair or her dad's money, and now just leaves passive-aggressive comments on your Instagram posts to make herself feel better.
Caroline Bingley is a fascinating, tragic study in psychological damage and status anxiety.
My take is that she's just purely evil, but please, break down the psychology for me. Why is she so intensely obsessed with ruining Mary's life? Mary has literally done nothing to her.
It's pure projection and deeply rooted insecurity. Think about Caroline's position in society. She considers herself elite. She has the money, she has the expensive clothes, she has the high society connections. She played the game exactly how you're supposed to play it. But she failed.
Miserably.
She threw herself at Mr. Darcy. She did everything right by society standards, and he utterly rejected her for Lizzie Bennet, a woman Caroline considers poor, uncouth, and entirely beneath her.
Right. She is still nursing that massive ego wound from the Darcy rejection.
Exactly. Now, Caroline looks at Mary. In Caroline's eyes, Mary is plain, poor, and incredibly awkward. Mary is the bottom of the Bennet barrel.
So mean.
Yet here is Mary in London, receiving male attention, making friends, laughing, and being authentically happy.
And Caroline literally cannot stand it. It breaks her brain.
It infuriates her on a cellular level. If Mary Bennet can be happy, desired, and content while being plain and lacking social grace, it forces Caroline to realize a terrifying truth. Her own deep unhappiness isn't due to a lack of money or status, it's a lack of character. Seeing Mary thrive holds a mirror up to Caroline's own emptiness. She can't fix her own emptiness, so she weaponizes the only thing she has left, her social malice.
And she is so intensely calculated with it, she literally weaponizes the dining table seating arrangement.
She's a tactical genius of pettiness.
She orchestrates it, so Mary is seated as far away from her friends as possible, and she dumps her right next to Mr. Hurst. And let's talk about Mr. Hurst. He is a brick wall, he is chronically mute, he is grumpy, he hates everyone, and he just wants to eat his soup in silence. Caroline seated Mary there, hoping she would wither and die of social embarrassment in front of Mr. Ryder.
But Caroline severely underestimated the sheer unstoppable power of the neurodivergent hyperfixation pivot.
Yes. Oh my God. This was the best scene of the entire show. Mary is sitting there trying to make polite conversation. She tries to talk to Mr. Hurst about democracy. Nothing.
Nothing.
She tries to talk about geology. Nothing. He is giving her absolute silence. So finally, she just drops the social script and asks directly, "What do you like, Mr. Hurst?" And he just grunts and says, "Horses."
And Mary, who knows absolutely nothing about horses, pivots instantly.
She doesn't even miss a beat.
She doesn't judge him. She doesn't try to bring the conversation back to polite society gossip. She engages him entirely on his terms. She asks him to teach her everything. She gets him to explain the anatomy of a horse using the silverware at the dinner table.
The cloppers and the clippers, I was dying laughing. They are building a hypothetical horse out of spoons and napkins together at the dinner table, and they decide to name it Gerald.
Gerald.
Gerald, the hypothetical horse. It was
Yeah.
the most pure, autistic-coded, brilliant way to connect with someone. She bypassed all the fake societal small talk that Caroline thrives on, and she just went straight into deep hyperfixation territory.
And she won him over completely. By the end of the dinner, the notoriously grumpy, silent Mr. Hurst is laughing out loud and betting imaginary money on a fake horse named Gerald. Mary triumphed by being genuinely curious and authentic, which is exactly the opposite of Caroline's fake, manipulative social climbing. Mary didn't try to be cool, she just tried to connect.
And Caroline sees this happening from across the table, and she is seething. She's practically vibrating with rage that her trap didn't work. Which brings us to the climax. Mother of all clapbacks and the cliffhanger.
Here we go.
Caroline cannot let Mary have a win. It goes against her entire worldview. So after dinner, in the drawing room, she corners Mary.
She goes straight for the jugular. She quotes Lady Catherine de Bourgh.
She tells Mary that Lady Catherine called her plain and uninteresting compared to her sisters. And then, the absolute unmitigated audacity of this woman, Caroline insinuates that Mr. Ryder is just playing a cruel joke on her and will ultimately reject her.
Awful.
She looks at Mary and says, presumptions of this kind only lead to disappointment and humiliation.
Caroline is trying to forcefully shove Mary back into the tiny, suffocating box that Mrs. Bennet built for her in Meryton. She is trying to reactivate all of Mary's childhood trauma and self-doubt. She wants Mary to feel small so Caroline can feel big.
But Mary is not the same terrified girl from Meryton anymore. The onion wax changed her.
The onion wax fortified her.
Mary looks Caroline up and down, doesn't even blink. And she fires back with the most lethal combination of words ever assembled in the English language. She asks Caroline if she has personal experience with rejection.
The exact quote is devastating. Is this a lesson you've learned from extensive study, or do you perhaps have experience of a more personal nature?
Boom! Shots fired. Medic. We need a medic for Caroline Bingley. I violently cheered. I was off my couch waving my cranberry mojito in the air.
I hope he didn't spill it.
It was a brutal, direct, unforgiving nod to Darcy rejecting Caroline. Mary gathered her, read her to filth, and left absolutely no crumbs.
It was magnificent television. The micro-expressions on the actors' faces. Caroline physically flinched.
You could see it.
You could see the air leave her lungs. She knew she had been seen, completely and totally, by the very woman she thought was entirely beneath her notice. It was a flawless victory for Mary.
But Caroline is a cockroach, and she won't just die gracefully. She panics, and she tries one final, desperate act of sabotage.
Of course she does.
She turns her back on Mary, gathers all the guests in the room, and loudly announces that Mary wants to sing for everyone.
The ultimate societal trap.
It is a literal hostage situation. Mary is terrified. She turns bright red. You can see her having flashbacks to the Netherfield ball where her voice cracked and her father publicly humiliated her to make her stop.
Trauma response activated.
Everyone in the room is chanting, "Sing! Sing, sing." It was triggering my own deep-seated social anxiety. I was hyperventilating for her.
In our modern world, if someone did this at a party, you could just say no thanks or pretend you got an emergency phone call and walk out the front door.
Right, exactly.
But in 1813, in a drawing room full of upper-class society people, when you were asked to perform, you were entirely trapped.
There's no escape.
Refusing is considered a massive breach of etiquette and shows a lack of breeding, but performing poorly is social suicide. Caroline put her in an impossible double bind. Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
And just as Mary is walking toward the piano, looking like she is walking to her own execution, about to completely break down, the drawing room doors burst open. It's Mr. Gardiner, and he is holding a letter.
The cliffhanger to end all cliffhangers.
He looks frantic, and he says Mrs. Bennet is gravely ill at Pemberley, and Mary needs to leave London immediately. And I immediately spiraled into an absolute panic.
Understandably.
My first thought was, is she actually dying? Or is this just Mrs. Bennet's ultimate narcissistic manipulation tactic to ruin Mary's good time? Because the timing is suspiciously perfect.
Very suspicious.
Mary is finally out of the house. She is finally happy. She has suitors. She just destroyed Caroline Bingley. And suddenly, bam, your mother is dying. Drop everything and come home to serve me.
Given Mrs. Bennet's extensive track record of weaponized hypochondria and emotional manipulation, it is highly probable that this is a manufactured crisis.
It's so probable.
She feels her control slipping, so she pulls the ultimate ripcord. But even if it's true, even if she is actually physically ill, It rips Mary right out of her newfound sanctuary, drags her backward, and the absolute tragedy of that final lingering cinematic shot.
Tom Hayward.
Tom standing there in the background watching Mary get whisked away into the rainy night, looking absolutely fundamentally devastated.
It was agonizing.
And my only thought as the screen faded to black was, you can look sad all you want, Tommy, but you're still actively engaged to her friend. Do something about it.
Yes, stop squeaking your shoes, stop counting your steps, and make a move, Tom. Break the engagement. Run after the carriage. The emotional damage this television show inflicted on me tonight is permanent.
Okay, let's take a deep breath, take another sip of our mojitos, and move into some broader debate. Because looking at all these characters, I really want to know your take on who actually thrives on this kind of awkward family tension.
Oh, let's do it.
If we had to give an award for most likely to start family drama at dinner, who gets your vote?
Oh, this is easy. I am voting for Caroline Bingley without hesitation.
Really?
Yes. She went completely out of her way to weaponize seating arrangement. She studied the room, identified who would be the worst possible dinner companion, and forced Mary to sit there just to be a hater. She thrives on making other people squirm.
She does.
She is exactly the kind of person who would bring up your recent breakup at Thanksgiving dinner in front of your extended family just to watch you panic and stutter.
Caroline is a very strong contender, and her malice is obvious, but you were thinking too small. My vote is for Mrs. Bennet.
Oh, interesting. Okay, defend this.
Yeah.
Because Mrs. Bennet wasn't even in the episode until the very last second.
Exactly. Think of the reach. Think of the unmitigated power.
Wait, I see where this is going.
Caroline had to physically be in the room, actively micromanaging chairs to cause drama. Mrs. Bennet, from hundreds of miles away in Pemberley, manages to send a single piece of paper that completely derails a London dinner party, stops a musical performance, and sends her daughter into a guilt-tripping panic spiral.
That is insane.
She's the Thanos of family drama. She snaps her fingers, or in this case, seals a wax letter, and half the joy in the universe ceases to exist. She thrives in chaos because she manufactures it on a national scale.
Okay, that is a terrifyingly accurate point. She's a strategic mastermind of anxiety. She doesn't even need to be in the zip code to ruin your night. It's also messy. But speaking of messy, who do you think is the most delusional about love here? Let's hand out the biggest romantic delusion award.
I think we have some incredibly strong candidates here who are deeply unserious about relationships.
I am voting for Ann Baxter. I am losing my mind over Ann. She is running around London trying to act like a seasoned love guru for Mary, doing extreme skincare interventions and giving terrible, cynical advice about how new love always fades into boredom.
Yeah. The audacity.
Meanwhile, she is actively, willfully ignoring the fact that her own fiancé, Tom, is practically drooling over her best friend right in front of her face on the dance floor. She is living in a state of absolute romantic delusion.
She really is.
She thinks she has it all figured out, but her own house is fully engulfed in flames.
Anne is definitely queen of denial, but my vote firmly goes to William Ryder.
The indie boy! Why? I thought he was so romantic.
Because his entire philosophy is a romantic delusion built entirely on the hidden foundation of male wealth.
Oh, bringing the privilege back in.
Always. He stands in a ballroom and romantically declares that people should just follow their hearts and that marriage is an oppressive, silly institution that should be ignored.
Right.
It is incredibly easy to be emotionally unserious and philosophical about rejecting marriage when you are a wealthy man who doesn't face literal starvation or destitution if you stay single. His worldview isn't romantic. It's a luxury that Mary simply cannot afford. It's delusional privilege disguised as progressive thought. He's playing a game. Mary is playing for her life.
Oof. The shade is deep and the shade is accurate. He's that guy who wants to keep things casual because labels are restrictive, completely ignoring that the lack of labels only benefits him and leaves the woman with all the risk.
Exactly. Now imagine taking any of this and dropping it into our dating pool right now, which brings up the question of what Regency dynamics would absolutely never survive in modern dating culture. What is sending you into a spiral just thinking about it?
The concept of the dance card, and specifically the rigid rule Anne mentions where you are only allowed to dance with someone twice in one evening before it's considered a massive scandal or an unofficial engagement.
So stressful.
Can you imagine the stress? Imagine if you could only reply to a guy's text messages twice before you had to legally marry him. Hey, what are you up to? Nothing much, just watching Netflix. You? Boom. Legally binding union. The pressure is insane. How did anyone survive the anxiety of talking to anyone?
The accelerated timeline is terrifying, I agree. But for me, it's the Caroline Bingley singing trap.
Oh, the hostage situation.
Yes. In modern dating or socializing, if a hostile peer tried to force you to perform at a party, it simply wouldn't work. As we discussed, Mary could just say, no thanks, I have a sore throat, or I'm going to grab an Uber, I'm tired.
Right.
But in 1813, being asked to sing in public by a high society peer group is basically a hostage situation. Your entire social standing, your reputation, your viability as a human being on the marriage mart is tied to whether or not you can successfully plunk out a tune on the pianoforte without crying.
It's just so evil.
Modern boundaries would absolutely decimate Regency society. They wouldn't know how to function if women could just say no.
We would not survive a single week in 1813. We would both be completely ruined and shunned from society. Okay, before we wrap up, we have to give out the main character suffering award. Who had the hardest emotional experience tonight, and did they handle it well?
Let the suffering Olympics begin.
I have to argue for our girl, Mary. She ran the ultimate gauntlet tonight. She started by getting boiling hot onion wax painted onto her face and peeled off.
Painful.
Then she had to navigate a high society ball with all those ridiculous rules. Then she got bullied by her sister's mean girl-in-law. Then she was forced to make conversation with a human brick wall, Mr. Hurst.
Exhausting.
Then she had to deliver the clapback of the century while fighting off a panic attack. And then she gets told her mother is potentially dying. She suffered, but honestly, she handled it like an absolute queen. She found her voice.
I hear your argument, and Mary did suffer immensely. However, I am sarcastically yet firmly arguing for Tom Hayward.
Oh, really? The squeaky shoe king. You think he suffered more than the girl who was publicly humiliated?
Yes. Put yourself in Tommy's squeaky shoes for just one moment.
Okay, I'm trying.
He is tracked by his own honor in an engagement to the wrong woman. He is forced onto a dance floor where he is sweating profusely, aggressively counting to 3 out loud just to survive the choreography, and trying desperately not to look at the woman he actually loves.
Oh, that is bad.
Then he has to stand on the sidelines, completely impotent, and watch the girl of his dreams laughing, leaping, and discussing true crime murders with a richer, cooler, handsomer indie boy. And he can't do anything about it.
Wow.
He is just marinating in his own repressed agony. Did he handle it well? No. He handled it terribly. Just stared sadly. But his suffering was exquisite to watch.
He was giving us peak suffering aesthetic. I love it. We love a sad, repressed Victorian man. Babes, what an incredibly chaotic, brilliant hour of television.
A true masterpiece of period drama and psychological warfare.
We want to thank the Snark Squad so much for drinking with us, hanging out with us, and bringing all the Friday night chaos. We love you guys.
It has been an absolute pleasure overanalyzing every single frame of this with you all.
But before we go, we need you to hit the comments because we need answers to these specific questions. Babes, tell us. What is the best birthday cake flavor? Is Costco cake actually elite, or is my bestie here completely delusional? What present would you buy a 14-year-old right now to not look uncool? And finally, who stressed you out the most in this episode?
Please validate my Costco cake stance in the comments. I need the support. And remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share the podcast with your messiest bestie.
We need to go online shopping for a teenager and try not to cry about our fleeting youth.
Until next time.
Stay messy, stay iconic, and we will see you on the Snark side.